Okay, so now I'm just applying linseed to the fretboard. Now that it partly cured from that last one that I did, I only did one little light coat to make sure that the inlays are good, and I want to make sure the fretboard is covered with linseed to not only harden it, but it also kind of softens the wood when I go to work with it, and then it eventually hardens once it cures. So when I'm cleaning out the frets and stuff, while it's still wet, it's actually easier to get some of that stuff out of there, some of the wood, and without cracking it. But yeah, the idea here is to get the oil down inside the inlays, just so, like, again, they have a barrier from the raw wood and the epoxy. The epoxy will still seep in, but it keeps it from bleeding all the way through. I'm also trying to protect the surface so that the epoxy, when it does bleed over, it doesn't bleed down into the wood, leaving like a splotchy look. The end result, I think, speaks for itself. Personally, I think it looks really good. The fretwork was quite a bit of a nightmare for me because they already weren't perfect from the factory, and it would have been easier probably just to redo the frets entirely, but again, I didn't want to spend too much on it. Not too much time or money for that matter, and I ended up spending quite a bit more time than I thought I was going to refretting. But it worked out. I do, however, have an electronics issue for some reason. It was fine. I don't know what happened, but probably just, as my wife said, it's probably because I was moving the guitar around too much, but I've got to go in there and check all the solder joints again, make sure everything is okay, because, you know, stuff happens. So this is a painstaking process if you don't like to do stuff like this, but this to me is actually a really cool part because I get to see, I'm just pulling out the paper towel here, I get to see what it's going to sort of look like when it's finished. I think I'm towards the finish line here, but I was not because of the fretwork. But as far as the inlay work, that was probably easier. Honestly, the inlay work was actually easier than putting the frets back in and reworking the frets, if that tells you anything. Now, I'm not a luthier. I just like to tinker with my guitars. But it doesn't usually take me that long to do something with a guitar. And this was a bit of work, but whatever, it got done and it looks cool, I think. It plays well. And I did sand the back of this because it had like a raw wood feel to it that I still didn't really care for. So I ended up hitting it with 400, sanding it back, and then hitting it with linseed and letting it cure up a bit. But I end up sanding it more later because I figured I'm here doing it, I might as well. And so I take some rougher paper, because right at where the neck bolts to the body, there's a little contour there that was pretty sharp because I had to sand it back from the factory. There was a big bump in it. I had to do a lot of work to this guitar to get it to be playable or better. So being able to take it, and later I take it and I might as well contour it while I'm here, right? So I do so, and now it's even better to play. And it's not like it was really awkward or anything. It's just I figured while I was there, I might as well do it. So it feels nice and smooth. It feels, at this point, it feels as good as my other guitars do. So I was pretty happy with that. And I only took it down to 400. I didn't go any higher than 400 grit sandpaper. So take that as you will and do it however you want to do it. But for me, linseed oil and 400 grit sandpaper was all I needed to make it feel good. And plus, I think it looks pretty nice. That amber tint that linseed oil has, I really like. Anyway, I'm leveling it out here to make sure that after it cures, I can pour the epoxy in it. We're good to go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.